provide relief assistance and comfort to our beloved Abreños. Thank you, Sir Mr. President. Your presence here, as well as the heads of the agencies who are with you, give us comfort. Malaking bagay po ito sa amin. Salamat ng marami sa mga tulong na pumapasok na at papasok pa para sa ating mga kababayan Abreño. Of course, we continue to receive update our people on the ground. There is so much change, damage, so many injured, many pero pangako namin ang Abra ay babangon. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, sir, for the warm welcome. Next, to give an update on the effects of the earthquake is ASEC Bernardo Rafaelito R. Alejandro IV of NDRRMC.
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning. To the members of the Cabinet and to the Speaker, Speaker Romualdez, Senator Amy Marcos, to the Governor, and to the other local officials and members of the RDMC, allow me to present the updates on the magnitude 7 earthquake in northern Luzon. Scope of my presentation is as follows: the situation overview, monitored effects, and actions taken. Let me begin with the situation overview. Shown is the latest earthquake information from PBOX detailing the occurrence of earthquake at around 8:43 yesterday at Tayong, Abra with a magnitude of 7.0. The highest intensity recorded is intensity 7. Also, based on records from PBOX, as of 2 a.m. this morning, there were already 798 aftershocks recorded in Abra. 161 were plotted, while 22 were felt. The magnitudes range from 1.5 to 5.4. Change in the number of aftershocks recorded was due to the validation made by PBOX. In terms of effects, for the affected population, a total of 4,969 families or 20,091 persons are affected in 110 barangays in Regions 1 and CAR. In terms of casualties, there are 5 dead and 131 injured. In terms of damage to infrastructure, there are damage reported in Ilocos Sur. Also, 61 schools were reported as damaged, as well as 3 bridges. As of reporting time, the cost of damage to infrastructure is 33.8 billion in Ilocos region alone. To date, the concerned agencies and regional offices are still gathering reports on the damage to agriculture and other assets. For houses, a total of 349 houses were damaged in CAR and Region 1. For roads and bridges, there are 22 roads closed to traffic in Cordillera region and 1 road in Cagayan Valley region. Several areas in CAR also experienced power interruption, while the whole province of Ilocos Sur experienced power interruptions but was immediately restored at 2 p.m. yesterday. In the Cordillera, most of the earthquake effects were reported in Abra and Benguet as shown. Also shown are the effects in Kalinga, Ifugao, and Mountain Province. Here are some photos capturing the extent of damage in the region. Now, for the actions taken, the NDRIMC conducted its emergency meeting with the affected regions via BTC since yesterday. The virtual EOC was activated and red alert was raised at the NDRIM OC. The NDRIMC directive was signed by the chairperson, was issued for Luzon regions on the reiteration of response actions. PBOX also conducted continuous assessment and organized its quick response teams. A total of 2 emergency alerts and warning messages were issued. This is in relation to the no tsunami alert. Specifically, the NDRIMC has directed its response cluster to monitor the situation, provide assistance as needed, and account all actions taken. Shown are the summary of actions taken by the response cluster. For search, rescue, and retrieval cluster, this is led by the Armed Forces of the Philippines. As shown, we have standby assets, that were deployed and also on standby for use. For camp coordination and camp management, protection and food and non-food items cluster, which is led by the DSWD, they have a standby relief amounting to 1.3 billion ready for augmentation. For emergency telecoms cluster, led by DICT, as shown, they're doing ongoing restoration together with the commercial telcos. For the shelter cluster, this is led by the DSHUD. They have prepared shelter assistance with the help of partner agencies. For the health cluster, this is led by DOH. They have provided medicines and other medical supplies to the affected LGUs. For the education clusters, this is led by the DepEd. They reported around 61 damaged schools and 116 damaged classrooms, and the assessment is still ongoing. For the logistics cluster, this is led by the OCD. We have available stockpiles ready for augmentation when needed. For the law and order cluster, this is led by the PNP. They have deployed security forces around the different evacuation centers and have around 1,290 personnel on standby. For the management of the dead and missing, this is led by the DILG. They are doing the verification of the casualties of this event. Then we have the Philippine International Humanitarian Assistance Cluster, which is led by the DFA. They are monitoring offers of assistance. So far, we have received offer of assistance from Japan, specifically for search, rescue, and retrieval and other emergency supplies. The AFP also conducted its immediate aerial reconnaissance for rapid damage assessment over Abra, Vigan, and other shoreline of La Union area. Based on the assessment, there were minor damage spotted at Vigan Cathedral and Bell Tower, as well as road damage due to landslide. No other significant observations or assessments were made. Here is the detailed report from the AFP for aircraft S-70, as shown. They flew over Abra yesterday. Also, here is the detailed report from the AFP for aircraft S-76A, which flew over Vigan and La Union also yesterday. As for the regions and the local government units, they have conducted rescue and retrieval operations in affected areas. The regions and the local government units also provided assistance to affected families. They initiated the conduct of clearing operations, and presently they are doing the assessment and data validation. With this, we'd like to inform the President that the response is managed at the local and regional levels with the support from outside regions, local government units, and other national government agencies. The NDRIMC is continuously monitoring and on standby for specific needs that may arise. That ends my briefing, Mr. President.
Thank you, ASEC Alejandro. At this point, may we hear the President's guidance.
Well, let's start. Good morning, everyone. I just like to start by clarifying some of the parts of the report. Number one, power has been restored everywhere. Wala nang area na nawalan ng power na hindi pa bumalik ang power o meron pa rin.
Sir,
Yung mga isolated na bayan at dito sa Abra.
Yes, sir.
The 7 towns in the mountains, ano?
yes, sir. Not all towns have power already, sir. Hindi pa po lahat. But
When do we anticipate na bumalik na? Yan. Tama-tama ang ating mga... Yes, I wanted that. I saw them. That's why I wanted to ask.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
My name is Loreto Chares Jr. I'm the General Manager of Abreco.
Good morning,
Please allow our technical assist to give you a brief report regarding
Please.
po sa
Oo.
extent ng damages ng Abreco.
Magandang umaga po, Mr. President.
Good morning.
As of this early morning, sir, is all 26 towns ng Abra may power na po. Although there are some laterals po na wala. Katulad po, halimbawa po, yung isang transformer nasira, definitely po, wala po. Pero yung backbone line po, buong Abra meron na po, sir.
So yung you have yung capability ninyo, yung capacity ninyo bago ng LINDOL, nasa 95% na kayo, parang gano'n. Naibalik na ninyo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's
Yes, sir.
about in the
Yes,
so
sir.
significant. The next area I wanted to ask about dahil hindi masyadong maliwanag was the communication. Hindi pa ba ang pagkaintindi ko from the DICT is that the globe is fully functioning. Who can we say? Is globe fully functioning and smart is also almost fully functioning? All right. Okay na for the province of Abra. Talagang inaantay lang niya na the power. Okay, of course. So, Sec Erwin, what are the outstanding issues yet para sa assistance doon sa ating mga naging biktima who are... that's another question I wanted to ask. Usually in the disaster reports, there is one area where you give the number of totally destroyed houses and partially destroyed. Do we have that number? Those numbers? Yes, please. Para alam natin what we are dealing with.
At this, Mr. President, at this point, we're continuing the assessment, and right now, as per 6 o'clock a.m., we have 28 totally damaged houses and 2,362 partially. Pero tataas pa to, sir, as the report sa kasi i-reach out pa natin yung mga outlying barrios, Mr. President.
Yusek Solidum, are we allowing them already? Are we allowing them already to go back into their homes, at least the engineers, to inspect if they are safe? Is it already safe for people to, at least hindi pa muna yung resident, kundi yung mga mag-inspeksyon, to declare safe the...
Yes po. Kung declared talagang structurally safe po yung mga building, pwede na. But people should be ready how to respond properly during aftershocks. Kasi malakas pa po ang posibleng aftershock, and just to brief po ang mga local government units, we expect aftershocks to continue for several weeks, pero the first 3 days po ang marami, and hopefully, pababa na siya.
For example, the hospital. When ayaw pa nilang pumasok ngayon because it might still be unsafe and baka magka-aftershock. When is it safe for our people to go in to make the inspection and then start the repairs?
Yung inspection po can be done right away.
Can be done with.
Yes po.
Oh, sige. Who will perform the
Engineer po, Public Works
Yung
and
sa Public
engineers.
Works, oo.
Ninyo.
Public Works ang gawa.
Yes po.
They will do the inspections. All right. The other, I think, Sector Win, I think dun sa human victims, yung mga homeless, how many people have been rendered homeless? Yes, Director. Oo. Ano
Yes, sir.
yung,
Mr. President.
yung statistic for homeless?
Ang bali, actually, ang nakalagay ho dito natin is totally is 28, pero ang partially, so assess pa natin yan, is 2,362.
Saan ngayon yung mga resident na yan?
Ito po ay covered po ito, yung mga marami rito po sa Abra, tapos meron din tayo sa Kalinga, sa Benguet.
Hindi, pagka homeless sila, saan sila tinakbo? Saan
Ano
sila
po yan?
dinala? Where did you evacuate them to?
Dalawa po yan, evacuation centers o meron silang napuntahan ng
Here
mga
in
kamag-anak sa
Yes,
ibang lugar.
Go, Vice Joy.
Mr. President, we opted to accommodate all our evacuees sa open area like yung ganitong structure. All of the LGUs in the province po, we have evacuation centers, but it's not advisable to accommodate inside the evacuation center since meron pa po mga aftershock. Kaya yung mga merong mga basketball courts, we set up through the SWD, we set up modular tents for everyone.
All right. How many now are under those are in those evacuation centers?
Actually, sir, we have 1,000 modular tents coming in, dumating na ito, and another 1,000 coming from Region 2, interoperability. So, parating ho ito, mga modular tents, pero meron na ho kaming na-set up dito sa Bangged
I'm looking for the number so that the DSWD knows how to prepare. Ilan ang aalagaan, ilan yung papakainin. That's yung basics. Basic. How long will we have to be keeping them in the evacuation center? All of this para alam ng DSWD kung ano yung trabaho nila. Yes,
Yes, sir. If I may, sir. OIC Faustino, sir. Sir, we have a figure here. We have the reports coming in from the affected regions. We have a total of 969 families, or 20,000 persons, more or less, that are affected in 110 barangays in Region 1 and the Cordillera Administrative Region. Inside evacuation centers,